Hey, we're back. Our next segment, Mr. Matt Marrash. Topic is the urge to go ultra-large format.
It's real.
Tell us about it.
You feel like there's only so much you can do, you can see, and you shoot it on 4x5. And of course, I've been shooting 8x10 with what seems like forever now. But, you get those... Oh, man, wouldn't it be great if I had, like, this different perspective, this different little aspect ratio? I kind of feel like large format can be explored like medium format. Medium format, you can go from square to panorama really easy, right? You have a little adapter, or you can just get a different back for it. It's pretty cool. But in large format, it's a monumental task to get it, like, to go bigger. So, of course, your majority of large formats 4x5. Like, it's 4x5 is the 35 millimeter of large format. It's just the most common. It's ubiquitous. Most options. It's the most practical. And then after that, you've got like your 5x7, 8x10, which they're kind of in the same boat. They don't occupy as much. And then you have et al., everything else. Mm-hmm. And ULF is like technically anything that isn't one of those three. It can be smaller, but generally it's larger. Anything like 11x14. 14x17, 16x20, mammoth plates. Leslie's always talking about the mammoth stuff, the 22x30 and up. Just absurdly large stuff.
Mind-boggling.
But as you go larger on anything, so this is any format, we get to be talking about motion picture, microfilm, or large format. As you scale, you have to have the optics that scale, and then of course you have to have the film that scales. But with large format, you have to have, it's a whole production. You need the camera,
yes.
You need the lenses, you need the holders. Holders can be weird. Ultra large format is difficult because a lot of this stuff predates standards. So in the world of large format, there are we have different like standards that things conform to. We now know the standards with our film speeds, our ISOs. Before that, we had DIN, which was like the German standard. Well, within those, we also had standards for how the different holders went into the camera, because there was people just making their own cameras prior to the early 1900s. There was really like Kodak that kind of like got people standardizing things. Before we had ISO, international standard, we had ANSI, which was American standards, and then we had DIN, which was the German standard, or Deutsche International. Now it's just ISO. You go to ultra large format, toss it all out the window. There's very few standards. Only 2 standards in ULF. Keith Canham's 14x17 camera might be different from Chamonix's 14x17 camera. So they don't have to make the same stuff. So now you get the urge to buy a big camera. Oh crap, now you got to make sure the holder you buy for it either has to come with all the stuff. Kind of like the motion picture kits, right? You want to make sure it has the right magazine and stuff.
Yep.
It's the same boat. A lot of people think it's this, it's just easy, I buy the thing. No, you're assembling everything from scratch. So every time I have the urge, I have to like tell myself, I'm really starting from scratch.
You're saying that large format, ultra large format, from company to company, the film holders are not standardized.
Yes,
sucks.
You could have different spacing, different fits on things, and it happens a lot. And it does happen still in 8x10 because, kind of related to Leslie's segment on working in Egypt, plate holders were very common. Well, plates have a different thickness from film.
Yes.
There were these things called a film sheath, which would adapt a plate holder to film, but you can't just take a plate holder, pop in some film. It's going to be out of focus. You don't have right spacing. There's all these little complex things, but the biggest one that is kind of obvious is, I need a lens that projects a large enough image circle onto my film. And that's something we just like never deal with in smaller formats because that's like the manufacturers take care of that for us. But fortunately, I've had this urge for like 12 years. So I've been building up the kit. I've been amassing.
Have you satisfied this urge?
I have.
Okay.
Finally. I know, I was building up toward it.
Yes.
I have my dream camera now, Mike.
Your dream camera.
So, all right, let's take the time machine back. It's 2010, the Photo Plus Expo. You and Dwayne meeting at the Kodak booth, talking to Scott at the Kodak booth.
Yes.
This was the pre-Tim days. Scott was there with Mr. Keith Canham.
That's right.
With that absurd camera. He had a 12x20 camera. I've got one now.
Oh.
12x20. Yeah.
Was it the camera that
wasn't the exact one.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
But it's 8. I mean, he made very few of those, but yeah.
Okay. Wow. And is it in your possession yet?
It is. I've even I've got some film, I've got some holders, matching holders, some lenses that cover it. But I'm still scared of it.
Where do you get the film?
So you can get it a couple places. Ilford, you can do the ULF special order, which I always talk about here on the show.
Once a year?
Once a year.
What show?
Usually the window is May, late April to late May. You can take orders through international dealers as well as like your Midwest Photo, your Roberts. Most mom and pop shops that deal in Ilford will take your orders for that. There's very low minimum orders for it. And then from time to time, Keith Canham will also have the Kodak special orders. Now that would be for your Ektachromes and your Portraits, so really, really pricey stuff. There's also ADOX. They will custom make ULF film, and that is to order, but it's a longer turnaround. So you could be waiting, a fiscal quarter for your film to come in from photoimpex.de.
Wow.
So yeah, Leslie.
Gotta choose a camera, gotta choose a lens, gotta have a right lens board.
Yep.
You also have to have a source for developing these.
Who's going to do this?
Who is going to do this?
That's a darn good question.
Time to wake this show up.
You can't just roll up that piece of film and send it out to the darkroom.
I know, I tried.
So how do you...
there are some places which will suit black and white. There's a lot of places that will accommodate black and white, upwards of 8x10, doing some sort of hand processing. But you're really looking for someone that uses rotary development. Rotary development is your friend, your Jobos, or your manual hand roller type tanks. So it can be another uphill battle. So this is definitely not someone that is... They're just going into 4x5. You're going to want to have some experience in the large format process before diving right in. Plates, that's different because you can kind of see that, touch that, and the process doesn't really change, but the cost goes up considerably.
I never thought about companies like Bessler and Unicolor in the past when making home color prints was a bigger thing than it is now, offered rotary tubes and bases.
The bases are great for that,
And the rotary tubes, if they're the right design, some of them have spacers or design...
or those weird ribs in there.
Ribs in the middle. They made those up to 16 by 20.
They did. You can do those for single sheets at a time. You know me, Leslie. I can't just do one at a time.
Oh, no.
No.
It's a Lay's potato chip.
Right?
We're not stopping there.
Just one.
Lay's Classic. Always fresh. Bet you can't eat just one.
It's a Lay's potato chip.
Right?
We're not stopping there.
Exactly. That's why I got 3 film. I got 6 shots with me. I'm doing tray. I'm slinging trays for now because I'm a tray veteran. But Jobo is very much in the future. So Jobo specializes. They have their professionals. So Jobo has. I didn't know this until I started looking at all this ULF stuff. Jobo has multiple different machines. They have the standard, just the heaters, the things that heat up your chemicals. They have the CPEs, which are more print-based ones. That's their ones for doing the at-home prints. They take the smaller style drums. And then they have their Pro series, which would be like the CPP and the CPA drums. Those ones are like your 3000 series drums. Those are the big boys. Those ones can take, they've got one that can do 5 sheets of 8x10 at a time. And then they have the 3050, 3060 units, which can do up to 20 by 24, which is wow. And 2 sheets. That's awesome.
Sheets.
So it adds up. Mike.
If I were to buy the Jobo company, I would change it to Joby, and then the logo would be his floating head.
Yeah, but then you have to pay royalties.
It's true.
You have to buy him out.
Right.
Oh, then good point. Yeah,
and he's not selling out.
He'd be like, I'll
Everybody
sell.
Has a number.
That's true.
He'd be like,
I
sell, but I have to buy these goats with it.
and take the kids 1 month a year.
That's a slang term, goat, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, goated.
What does it mean?
With the sauce. Greatest of all time.
I'm hip. I'm with it.
You got it.
I'm not.
No, I'm not.
Please continue.
No, I mean it's a fun. I like going to that because it's different. It's a way of making everything you do significantly harder within large format. It's pretty much black and white only. I say pretty much because Keith Canham does fire a few ultra large format Portra and Ektachrome orders per year, which is insane to think of. So you're DIYing it, you're assembling a lot of this stuff yourself. But if you love big contact prints, there's nothing else like it. It's sweet.
I just drew a little picture of you. This is going to be you going to an event. That's you. That's you slinging the camera.
It's great. I love it.
It's like big man on campus.
Yeah, and
BMOC.
I don't even know if I would sling the camera like that because it's not even that it's heavy. It's just it's so much mass, like just spread out. Oh yeah.
How many 8x10 sheets did you take with you to Joshua?
Oh, so I took 6 holders and I took 45 sheets of film. I took a box of black and white, so 25 sheets of Delta, and then I took 20 sheets of Portra 160. But I shot all my Portra. I barely shot any Delta because when you get there, you're like, I'm here. I already took the trip. The Portra was basically bonus film. I was looking at the bottom of my freezer.
Oh.
And I was
This
like,
is at the
shit.
Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
Did you have a little point and shoot 35 in your pocket?
His
No.
point and shoot was his house.
I brought my Fuji, and then I think I would grab there was so many Leicas, Mike. If I wanted to shoot there, I just borrow somebody's Leica.
Right.
I did shoot a little bit of X-Pan. This very nice gentleman, Mr. Casey Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Mike,
Casey?
you would actually really like Casey's YouTube channel because he does a lot of theming. So his YouTube channel is GX Ace. So he's digital, but he goes with a very he has a very futuristic technology vibe, and his edits are very his color and his edits look very clean.
What is his YouTube handle?
GX Ace.
Ace as an A?
ACE, yeah. And he's Casey Kavanaugh.
GC Ace. And he was in the Joshua Tree?
Yeah, we were hanging out.
He was in the tree.
Yes. Oh, so is his... Oh, here we go.
It's futuristic.
The Fuji 16mm
Yes.
f1.4.
Yeah. Just check it. So it is modern tech stuff, but he always everything has that same kind of cinematic tech look. I think you'd dig it.
I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, and he's in Michigan, so he's actually not too far from me.
And it's a good watch?
Yeah, he's entertaining. Yeah.
So that's it. You took the plunge.
I finally did it. I mean, so I told myself the 8x20 would be fine. I bought this old beat up 8x20 and I hacked it together on my CNR, and it was not satisfying the urge.
Have you developed any sheets yet?
I have done some test shots and I'm blown away.
Oh. How are you scanning this stuff?
There are 2 kind of options you can do for ULF film, but this is a great question. Most ULF film, there are a few flatbed scanners that will do it. There is one that I'm considering, but there are specialty flatbeds that go larger. So Epson made some. They're called the GT or the XL, the Fine Art series flatbed scanners. Those go up to 11 by 17. So if you're 11 by 14, that's fine. And those are nice because they're USB scanners. You don't have to worry about old stuff. But all the bigger ones, you have 2 options. You have even larger flatbeds, which use SCSI ports, womp. So you really got to do adapters, or you have to buy an old Mac with it. Or even worse, you got to go drum.
That's your big boy. How much?
Drum scanners?
Yeah.
You can get shitty ones for $3,000.
What about the 11 by 14?
Oh, the good ones?
No,
the flatbed.
How much is that gonna
There's a specialty flatbed that has a 13.2 by 20.1 inch surface called a screen Cezanne. You can get 6,500 DPI.
Wow.
Now, what about contact printing?
That's what I got it for, is because I do all the alternative process and silver contact prints. I'm already doing that.
Okay. You have the setup to do contact prints?
Yes.
Okay.
It's great. I actually got a big 20 by 24 contact printer from Adorama. They were blowing it out.
And what's the size of your negative?
12 by 20.
12 by 20.
So I can take 20 by 24 and strip it in half. I've got a little rototrim at home for paper. Or I buy the Hahnemühle watercolor paper by the roll, and I've got my little deckled edge ruler, and then I can just tear it off. So I have 4 deckled edges on it. So
is there an option for direct contact paper?
there are contact printing process papers. So contact speed papers. There used to be a wonderful paper emulsion that I really miss called Kodak Azo.
Oh yeah, that was the replaced Velox, didn't it? Or RC?
It's not RC. It's a heavier. It's heavier weight, but it's not. It is fiber. But that is a silver chloride based printing paper.
Okay.
So that needs a lot more light.
Right.
It's almost like alt process and a really smooth, continuous tone. There was a company called Lodima Press who made a version of that same type paper, but it's very, very expensive. We're talking silver paper that costs like $20 per.
And your own setup for
RA4.
RA4, which is color.
That was another part of my plan.
Do you have paper that you can cut that fit your camera?
How many years ago was it, Mike, when I contacted you about doing that RA4? It's got to be 5 years. 4 years?
3 years.
Okay. When I ordered that paper, I was like, oh, so Steven has a 16 by 20 camera. I'm going to be shooting 12 by 20 soon. So that's why I got the 20-inch roll. So I've got the rototrim. I have a little jig for it, and I can just strip down. So the other cool thing is, instead of paying almost $100 per shot of color, RA4, it's a couple bucks, and I already have the process down, so it's great.
Now, are you planning any type of event? I want to say event, I don't mean like a public event, but an event where you're going to do an RA4 day, where, like, you know what I'm saying, maybe you and Steven, like, is there any...
Oh, we did some Christmas portraits last year, so we are going to be planning another one. We had one that kind of fell through just because, like, organizing with the gallery, but with his brownie, we were doing like 16 by 20s with that, which was cool. Yeah, we were doing 16 by... Oh, so he has so Stephen Takis, he has a giant brownie camera. It's a 17 times scale.
To walk into it.
Yeah, you walk into a camera. It's just it's a frame.
Oh, okay.
But it's a camera obscura, but it looks like it's got the brownie logo and everything on it.
Nuts.
And we were doing 16 by 20 RA4 portraits on it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, Mike. I can do giant color portraits in camera, nice and sharp. The contact prints. It's just it's a whole thing. It's fun.
Matt, this is exciting, and we're going to revisit this very soon.
Awesome.
And now
I know it's boring.
In the future, we're going to see. No, not at all. In the future, we're going to see results. And
yes, I'll have to bring. Once I'm more comfortable, I'm going to bring the setup.
You can reach us podcast at filmphotographyproject.com. Of course, we're on the Instagram, on the Flickr.
It's Flickr.
Go Flickr.
On the YouTube. Matt Marrash is on the Flickr. I'm sorry,
Still.
you are on Flickr, yes.
Still.
Matt Marrash is on the YouTube with Large Format Friday.
LFF, yeah.
And what's the show called?
Film Photography Podcast.
And where are we?
You're getting fired.
We're in Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Nice.
it's heavy and it's heavy and it's heavy and it's heavy and